Welcome to another episode of the Vision Clarity Leadership Podcast. My name is Seth.yelorda, and I'll be your leadership coach for the next 15 minutes or so, helping you become a high-performance leader and really a high-performance individual. You see, with this podcast, we're on a mission to help every person see themselves not just as a leader, but as an extraordinary individual. We want you to live a life that is big, bold, and courageous, making a big, bold, courageous impact in this world. And so with this podcast, we are delivering resources and tools every week to help you live and lead at the next level. So if you find this content valuable, I'll be so honored if you would write a review or rate the content wherever you consume it. And please subscribe. We're always shooting for a 5-star review. And it would also mean so much to me if you would share this content with your colleague, your team, your friends, even your family. Because we're on a journey here to build a community of visionaries with this podcast. So you sharing the content is one of the best ways to help us do that. Now, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to answer this question honestly. If there was one thing that I could give you that would totally transform your life, it would help you to achieve higher levels of success, higher levels of performance, the goals and the dreams that you set for yourself, it would guarantee that you actually accomplish them. I mean, if there was one thing that I could give you that would end your sleepless nights, that would remove stress and help you deal with frustration between your coworkers and difficulty with your boss, like one thing, like a secret pill, that if you have this one pill, it would totally transform every area of your life. If I offer that to you, I want to know, number one, would you take it? And number two, how much would you be willing to pay for it? Because there is such a thing. And I just want to tell you, it's out there. It exists. There is one thing that can actually transform everything about your life. And it's not what you think. It's not discipline, even though discipline helps. It's not your habits, even though your habits definitely help. It's not even consistency, which is really a form of discipline, right? It's not even consistency, and consistency helps. But there is one thing that can totally transform your life. I have experienced it. Other people who operate at a very, very, very high level have also experienced it. And I'm not quite sure if you have experienced it. And so that's why I want to share it with you today. This is the secret sauce. You can tell I'm kind of building this thing up here because I want you to understand how important this thing really is. It's the secret sauce. It is the one thing that all high performers have. All of them have this one thing. It's the one thing that anyone who has ever accomplished anything of significance has had in their life. Everyone that we look to, whether it's researchers, scientists, innovators, athletes, they all have this one thing. It's not drive, it's not ambition, it's not focus, it's not determination, it's not resilience, it's not grit. It's coaching. That is it. Coaching is the secret sauce that has the ability to transform any individual from where they are into who they really desire to be. Coaching is the one thing that literally is a force multiplier that will take you from living well below your potential and will help you skyrocket above what you even thought you were capable of. Coaching is the one thing that can take any individual and really help them achieve all of the dreams and goals and aspirations they set themselves out to achieve. That's the thing, coaching. Tony Robbins says this about coaching. He says, the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the expectations of your peer group. If you want to get better, surround yourself with those who are better. That's why a coach is so important. Oprah Winfrey says it like this: I don't think there's anything more important in life than knowing when and how to ask for help. And a coach is the ultimate form of asking for help. Eric Schmidt, who was the former CEO of Google, says, the one thing people are never good at is seeing themselves as others see them. A coach really, really helps with that. Coaching, in fact, is a force multiplier. And I want to talk with you a little bit about it. And this is not just going to be about why you should get a coach or you should have a coach, but really, what does the coach do for you? And I'm really hoping that you would just really engage in this episode. If you've never had a coach before, this is really the episode for you. And even if you've had coaches in the past, but maybe you're not actively using one right now, this is also the episode for you. Now, I've had coaches. I've had good coaches and I've had some not so good coaches. And I recognize that just like anything, you can go to a restaurant and there are some great restaurants and then there are some not so great restaurants. But just because you encounter a bad restaurant doesn't mean you stop going to restaurants. No, you just write that one off your list and you try another one. So I've had a number of coaches throughout my life. And something that I've realized is that the reason why many people don't get a coach is really because of one of two reasons. Either one, they feel as though they can develop on their own. So they feel as though on some level they are self-taught, or they feel like they can't afford it. And I want to address both of those. The first one is this idea that you can develop on your own. Now, I would be lying to you if I said that you cannot develop on your own. I believe that all of us on some level can develop on our own. There's a time for self-instruction and being self-taught. I could hand you a pair of golf clubs. You could never have hit golf clubs before, never played golf before. You could go out to the range and you could figure it out, right? You could figure out how to play this game called golf. I could give you a project at work and you might not have any knowledge of the project. And I would just say, hey, figure it out. And you could probably, over time, figure it out. But there comes a point in your own self-taught personal development kind of trajectory where you will begin to plateau and you will need resources and personnel and coaches to really help you get to the next level. It's inevitable. It happens to everyone that you can achieve so much on your own, but there comes a point where if you want to go to the next level of performance and you want to go to the next level of excellence, you're going to need someone who outside of you can observe you and can actually give you feedback on what you're doing well and the areas of improvement. And that really is the purpose of a coach. A coach is there to help you with feedback. They are there to sit down with you and they are there to give you feedback on your performance and to point things out to you that because you are so close to the project, you're so close to the initiative, you're so close to the program that you're working that you can't see it for yourself. Now, I tell people that the reason why they should get a coach is because you're trying to go further faster. If I am a sports player, and let's just use golf, and I want to go all the way to the PGA Tour, I want to go far. I want to go from being a weekend golfer to actually being on tour with some of the best Rory McIlroys and Tiger Woods, then I'm going to need a coach because that coach will help me go further than I could go on my own. And that coach will help me go further faster, where it might take me a lifetime to get there on my own. With a coach and the appropriate tools and dedication of time and energy and resources, I could get there in a relatively shorter period of time than I could on my own. And that applies to every area and domain. If you want to go further, faster financially, you need a financial coach. If you want to go further, faster in your own health and fitness, you need a health and fitness coach. If you want to go further, faster in your marriage, you need a marriage coach, someone who can give you insight into how you and your partner are showing up together in areas where you can possibly make some adjustments so that your marriage can go further, faster. If you want to go further, faster as a parent, then you need a coach. In every area of your life, if you want to go further, faster, then you need a coach. The coach is there to help you accomplish your goals with clarity and precision. That's the purpose. Now, I have had the privilege of serving as a coach for probably the last 6 or 7 years now with a number of individuals. And what I've come to realize is that my role as a coach is really to do two things. I want to increase your level of awareness, and I want to increase your level of responsibility to what you have just become aware of. I hope that makes sense. So what I mean is I want you to become more aware of how you're showing up, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want you to become aware of your self-defeating thoughts. I want you to become aware of your body language, how you're moving, how you're talking, your limiting beliefs, the decisions that you're making, how you're moving through life and through leadership. My role is to point out things to you that might not be serving your ultimate goal. So you might say, hey, my ultimate goal is to become a CEO or to join the C-suite. My ultimate goal is to launch my business and become an entrepreneur and have a 7-figure business. That's phenomenal. That's great. My role is to help you become aware of the things that possibly could be preventing you from achieving that goal. But it's not just about awareness, because awareness alone does not serve us. Now, I want to increase your level of responsibility. I want to increase your level of responsibility. And that simply means I want you to respond appropriately to the awareness that we have just discovered. So we're going to become aware of a limiting belief that you've been embracing. We're going to become aware of how you've been showing up in a certain way. And then I want to say, okay, how are you going to change? How are you going to shift? How are you going to respond to this new level of awareness? That's my role as a coach. Now, I know there are individuals out there who say, you know what, well, that sounds good for some people, maybe people who need help. They probably get a coach, but there's no way I am paying a coach, paying an individual to help me accomplish a goal, especially if that person has never accomplished the goal on their own. And I get that. There are some people out there who are of the mind that they're only going to hire someone who's actually done the thing that they're trying to do. So I guess if you apply that to the sports world, I'm only going to work with a coach who's won a championship if I'm a basketball player. I'm only going to work with a coach who's actually won a PGA tournament if that's my goal. And I get that. But I think oftentimes individuals who have that mentality, what they often are doing is they're confusing coaching with mentorship. A mentor is that individual who focuses on a long-term personal and professional development. They often provide guidance based on their own experience, their own wisdom in a particular field. Their goal is to share with you what they've gone through and then to help you navigate the terrain so that you either can make better decisions than them or not fall prey to the same decisions, bad decisions they made. That's what a mentor does. A coach, however, is focused on specific goals, performance improvement, and behavior change. A coach helps individuals identify and achieve a particular objective within a set time frame. So a mentor is someone that you might meet with once a quarter, and they are journeying with you through your career. A coach is someone that you meet with once a week, and the coach is there to say, you're trying to go for this promotion? Okay, let's set up how we're going to help you get that promotion. A mentor is more longitudinal. A coach is more time-bound, performance-bound, behavior change-bound. Another way of looking at it is that a mentor shares their knowledge and they offer advice and provide guidance based on their own experience, whereas a coach uses a process-oriented approach using techniques such as active listening, powerful questions, and goal setting. So understand that if I'm meeting with my mentor and I might say, man, I'm really having a difficult time with my colleague, the mentor will then say, man, I've been there before and this is how I did it. That's what a mentor does. They share their experience with you so you can learn from the wisdom of their experience. A coach, on the other hand, isn't going to tell you, this is how I would do it. If you come to me and you say, I'm really having a difficult time with a coworker, my response to you is, well, what are your options? What has worked for you so far? What hasn't worked for you so far? What have you tried? What haven't you tried? Let's look at the situation differently. I'm not trying to share with you how I've handled difficult coworkers. I'm trying to pull out of you who you are, helping you to rise to another level of awareness and responsibility so that you can figure out on your own through some powerful questions how you need to navigate this situation. That's the difference between a mentor and a coach. So I totally get it. If you're that individual who says, I'm not going to hire a coach who's never been where I'm trying to go, then that's fine. But that's what a mentor does. A mentor shows you how to get where they've been. A coach is not there to show you how to get where they've been. A coach is there to help you accomplish specific time-bound goals. The way that I like to look at it and the definition I use for coaching is that coaching is the process of exploration and discovery that reveals what you are truly capable of. That's what coaching does. There's a great example of coaching that I want to show you now. Let's take a listen to Dr. Atul Gawande as he talks about the role of coaching in his professional life.
How do professionals get better at what they do? How do they get great? And there are two views about this. One is the traditional view. That is that you go to school, you study, you practice, you learn, you graduate. And then you go out into the world and you make your way on your own. That's how doctors learn. That's how lawyers do, scientists. Now, the contrasting view comes out of sports. And they say, you are never done. Everybody needs a coach. The greatest in the world needs a coach. So I tried to think about this as a surgeon. Pay someone to come into my operating room, observe me, and critique me. It seems absurd. Expertise means not needing to be coached. So then which view is right? Turns out there are numerous problems in making it on your own. You don't recognize the issues that are standing in your way, or if you do, you don't necessarily know how to fix them. And the result is that somewhere along the way, you stop improving. And I thought about that, and I realized that was exactly what had happened to me as a surgeon. So I asked a former professor of mine who had retired, his name is Bob Osteen, and he agreed to come to my operating room and observe me. The case, I remember that first case, it went beautifully. I didn't think there would be anything much he'd have to say when we were done. Instead, he had a whole page of dense with notes. Just small things, he said. Did you notice that the light had swung out of the wound during the case? Another thing I noticed, he said, your elbow goes up in the air every once in a while. That means you're not in full control. It was a whole nother level of awareness. He was describing what great coaches do. And what they do is they are your external eyes and ears, providing a more accurate picture of your reality. They're recognizing the fundamentals. They're breaking your actions down and then helping you build them back up again. After 2 months of coaching, I felt myself getting better again. And after a year, I saw my complications drop down even further. It was painful. I didn't like being observed. And at times I didn't want to have to work on things. I also felt there were periods where I would get worse before I got better. But it made me realize that the coaches were onto something profoundly important. I think it's not just how good you are now, I think it's how good you're gonna be that really matters.
I love what he said. A coach is external eyes and ears providing a more accurate picture of your reality. And then the question that led him to decide to get a coach is this as good as I can get? And that's a question that you have to wrestle with. Is this as good as you can get? Because if this is good as you can get, that's when you need a coach. Because I believe that you have unlimited potential. That where you are right now is not as good as you can get. You can go to the next level. You can become better, stronger, faster, smarter, more proficient, more effective. You can become a better father, a better parent, a better mother. You can become a better manager of your finances and budget. You can become a better leader. You can become better at life. And the next level of life and the next level of leadership for you will only come when you have the support and the feedback from a coach. This is a gospel truth. Tom Landry says, a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, who has you see what you don't want to see, so you can be who you have always known you could be. That's what a coach is. It's that person who's willing to give you some honest feedback so that you can become who you know in your core you really are. So if you have never had a coach before, I want to encourage you to try it. Just try it. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I can't afford coaches. And let me just tell you, there are coaches out there with price ranges from very affordable to extremely expensive based off of what you're trying to accomplish. I know coaches where they might charge you $500 a month and have 3 or 4 sessions. And I know coaches who will charge you $100,000 a year, right? $25,000 a quarter to have coaching with them. It really depends on where you are. And obviously, if you are just starting off in your professional life, or maybe you have some goals you're trying to achieve, that $100,000 coach might not be for you. You might say, you know what, let me find a coach that fits within my budget and that I can work with, someone that's affordable, but that's also really good. I want to encourage you to just try it. Now, when I say try it, I'm going to tell you like my therapist said. She was like, Seth, one session isn't going to get you anywhere. You have to engage in the process. And I think the truth is also for coaching. One session isn't going to get you anywhere. You have to engage in the process. So the process that I apply is we meet for 3 months. And over those 3 months, we meet from 9 to 12 times. So ideally, we're meeting once a week or at least once every 10 days over that 3-month period. And during those 3 months, I'm walking you through a curriculum that I've developed that's helping you increase awareness, increase responsibility so that you can accomplish the things that you set out to accomplish. So if you're going to try a coach, don't just try it once. That's like saying, well, I went to one doctor once and it didn't work, or I had a therapy session and I didn't like the therapist, so therefore I'm never going to engage in therapy again. No, that's what the immature do. The mature people say, you know what, I recognize maybe that coach isn't for me, or maybe that restaurant isn't for me, or maybe that therapist isn't for me. So let me try another one. And when you find one that works, stick through their process. Normally, they will have a 2 to 3 month process that they want you to commit to. Engage in the process. And at the end of the process, if you're not further along than what you felt like you should be, have an honest conversation with the coach. Tell them, hey, I thought I was going to be here, but I'm actually here. I want to know from your perspective, what's the disconnect? Why am I not further along? Now, it's not the coach's responsibility to move you towards your goal. The coach is there to provide feedback on why you're not moving towards your goal. So have a conversation with them about it. But I just want to encourage you that if you have a goal, if you have something you're trying to accomplish, if you want to do something of significance in life, maybe it's becoming a CEO, SVP, maybe it's climbing the ladder as an entrepreneur and going to a 6 and 7 figure business. Maybe it's developing financial habits and behaviors, or becoming a better parent, or a better spouse. Engage in a coach. You literally have nothing to lose. You owe it to yourself. Respect your goals enough to provide them the resources you need in order to accomplish them. I've said this before, that if you don't have a coach, you're not really honoring the goal, because most goals require time, effort, sacrifice, and coaches. So honor the goal. If it's a weight loss goal, honor the goal by getting a fitness coach. If it's a financial goal, honor the goal by getting a finance coach. If it's a professional goal, honor the goal by getting an executive coach. Honor the goal that you're going after. And I want you to trust me, you will not regret it. Listen, I hope that you were encouraged by this episode to try something maybe you've never tried before. Please let me know. Leave a comment if you're going to try coaching, or give me some feedback. I would love to hear from you. And as always, please like and subscribe and share this podcast with your family and your friends, or someone else you know who also needs a coach. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you next time.